better for Almeria. Bernardello managed to beat both the defender and keeper here for their third. Espanyol pulled one back before half-time and Alvaro Vasquez added another just after the break. Final score 3-2. Meanwhile, Real Madrid will be looking to close the gap on the leaders Barca when they take on Real Sociedad on Sunday. Real seem to have been a bit out of sorts in the league recently, but coach Jose Mourinho will be hoping their midweek success in the Copa del Rey will boost their performance. And he's taking nothing for granted against promoted Sociedad.
It's one of my favorite teams in the league. I like very much the way they play. We had a very difficult match in San Sebastian. We won. We didn't deserve so much, not because we didn't play well, but because the opponents played very well. And this is the kind of team that is really dangerous.
A late charge from Thomas Bjorn has taken him to the top of the leaderboard at golf's Qatar Masters. 4 birdies in the last 5 holes left the Dane 1 shot clear of his nearest rival. He wasn't the only one working hard, though, at the course in Doha on Saturday, as world #1 Lee Westwood tried to iron out the problems that saw him miss the cut. Joanna Gajarowska reports.
He toiled for 2 days in windy conditions, but the world #1 Lee Westwood was left out on Saturday, having missed the cut at the Qatar Masters. Instead, the Englishman worked hard on the range, shaking off what he called the early season rust. He also missed out on perfect conditions during round 3. Former champion Alvaro Quiros took advantage of warm and calm weather, the Spaniard shooting a round of 6 under par to move into tie for 5th.
If I win here again in Qatar, I think I will be the second winner to win it twice after Adam Scott. So it's a good signal. But at the same time, I'm conscious that it's not going to be in my hands tomorrow. The leaders are playing well. They're going to have a very good advantage over me, so I have to keep myself focused in just play golf.
Defending champion Robert Karlsson remains in contention to hold on to the title. He sits in 3rd place, 3 shots off the lead after making a birdie on the 6th. 2 shots ahead is Austrian Markus Breer, who's ranked 478th in the world. He desperately needs the win to continue playing on the tour. But out in front is a veteran of the game. Thomas Bjorn, a former Ryder Cup star, shot a bogey-free round of 66 to stay in the hunt going into the final day.
Tomorrow's going to be a fighting day by the looks of things. You know, we did that on Thursday, so you just got to, try and stick in there. It's going to be a tough day, but, you're in a good position to do it, and that's the most important thing. But let's see what happens tomorrow.
Well, conditions are expected to get worse on Sunday, and that will mean that Bjorn and his fellow competitors will face a tough fight, not only against each other, but also the wind. Joanna Gajarowska, Al Jazeera, Doha.
Rugby now, and defending Six Nations champions France look in ominous form, topping the table after the opening weekend, following an impressive 34 points to 21 victory over Scotland. And while they produce some beautiful attacking play, they'll know they still have quite a bit of defensive work to do. A late drop goal from Ronan O'Gara spared Irish blushes against Italy. Kim Clijsters and Janine Wichmeier have given Belgium a commanding 2-love lead over the USA in the quarter-finals of the women's team event, the Fed Cup. With both Venus and Serena Williams out of the US team, Clijsters was heavily fancied to easily beat a less experienced opponent, Melanie Houdin. And the Australian Open champion did just that. That ace there on match point, claiming a 6-love, 6-4 win. And that's the sport for now. Back to you, Nick.
So good to see you. Thanks very much indeed for all the sport. That's excellent. Thanks very much. Now we'll be back with more news shortly, but for now, we'll leave you with some of the more dramatic images from Egypt on Saturday, the 5th of February.
Hello again. Well, in Sri Lanka, it's still raining very, very heavily. We have had more reports of yet more flooding in the past couple of days, and you can see why. This is the storm system that's given us our torrential downpours, and it's going nowhere in a great hurry either. So over the next few days, then, it's going to stay very, very wet, particularly for the central and eastern parts. Further north, and for most of us across India, it's fine and dry and actually pretty warm at the moment, 29 there in New Delhi for Sunday, but more in the way of cloud and rain just rolling its way across the northern parts of Pakistan and into the northern parts of India, and that will also be giving us a fair amount of snow at times too. Now here in Doha, the winds are back with us as we head through the next few days, so a blustery day, dusty at times, and it won't be that warm either. A top temperature in Doha of 22, and then on Sunday night I think we'll drop all the way down to around 14. For the southern parts of Africa, here it's very unsettled, as it has been over the past couple of days. Yet more wet weather still on the cards for most of us as we head through Sunday. Does look like Cape Town should get away with a dry day there, and it will be pretty warm as well, if not hot, all the way up at 33 degrees. Now for Brazil, it's in the northeast where we've seen the heaviest and most persistent rains recently, but also we're now seeing some bright white cloud there across Peru. More heavy downpours are still to come here as we head through the day on Sunday.
Egyptian people will be the ones who will make the change.
We are mobilizing tomorrow a mass protest from Tahrir Square.
If we decided to give in now, they will hunt us one by one.
As China's economic juggernaut thunders ahead, critics claim this growth exacts a heavy toll. 101 East examines the environmental and human costs of this economic powerhouse. 101 East at this time on Al Jazeera.
Now, the main stories here on Al Jazeera.
From the world to your phone. Al Jazeera Mobile.
We're not leaving. He is leaving. Pro-democracy protesters dig in for another night in Liberation Square. Hello, I'm Sahil Rahman. You're watching Al Jazeera's extended coverage of the ongoing turmoil in Egypt. Also on the programme, Hosni Mubarak's son Gamal and other leaders of the ruling party have resigned, but the president himself is staying put. But so are the protesters, despite a direct appeal from an army general.
President Mubarak's continued leadership is critical.
Mixed signals from Washington as the man President Obama sent to Egypt says Mubarak should stay in power. The government says that's not US policy. Made in the USA, the technology allowing Egypt to spy on internet users. Welcome to the programme. It's 2200 GMT, that's midnight in Egypt, where the standoff continues between millions of protesters and the nation's president, Hosni Mubarak. Let's go straight to the main developments in Egypt. A senior US official has backed Hosni Mubarak's insistence on staying in power until September. Frank Wisner, who went to Egypt last week as Obama's special envoy, said Mubarak's leadership was critical for an orderly transition. The White House said he did not speak for the US government. Meanwhile, the top brass of Egypt's ruling National Democratic Party has resigned, according to state television. Amongst those to go is President Mubarak's son, Gamal. And party veteran Hossam Badrawi has taken over as NDP's Secretary General. So, as the standoff continues, Mubarak has been manoeuvring to secure his position. Alan Fisher looks now at the latest moves made by both sides.
The TV announcement of big changes in the ruling party. Members of the National Democratic Party have resigned today. Dr. Hossam Badrawi has taken over as Secretary General and Head of Policy. Out the Executive Committee, including the President's son. For the people in the square, it's a step, but they want Mubarak out as the country's leader.
What's the point of members of the National Party resigning when Mubarak can go and form another party, which will be worse than this one? He will then become the president again. We have been like this for 30 years. Enough is enough.
Earlier, the protesters were asked to abandon